Well, welcome. This is Keli Meagher and the Be the Change Show, and I have a special guest with me today. Her name is Amirah Hall. I'm so happy that you guys are here today. I know it takes a lot out of your day and daily schedules with kids and making dinner and going grocery shopping and all of that, so I honor you. It's such a privilege to spend this time with you and with Amirah, and you're nurturing your soul, which once you give to yourself, you have more to give to other people. And to Be the Change the show, I really wanted to come up with this show because I wanted people to be able to reclaim their personal power. It's something that we're born with. It's an innate with us, but we end up giving it away so easily. Just as an example, like I know for myself, I've given away my power when, let's say, somebody asked me to maybe wear a little bit more makeup than I felt comfortable with. And I said, oh, okay, I'll try that, even though I felt like a clown. So I did it once and decided, that's not for me. I need to reclaim my power and my authenticity and say, you know what, I don't need all that makeup. It's okay that I wear a little bit of makeup. So be true to yourself. And that's what these guests on the show is all about, is really reconnecting and reminding us of our own magnificence and our own power and our own beauty, because it is all within us. And so, again, I applaud you and honor you because you are all that. So thank you, thank you, thank you. And I'm so pleased to have Amirah Hall on the show. She is new to the telesummit world, and she is a miracle worker, and she's a dear friend to me, and it means so much to me that she's on the show with me. She helped me through a really tough time in my life when my brother-in-law was passing away. And there was a lot of chaos in the family, It's definitely hard to watch somebody pass away from cancer. It's not pretty. And because of Amirah, I was able to hold a space of calmness and be the anchor for them. Because, she just gave me that power, that ability, and that knowledge, and that was a beautiful gift, and I'll always be forever grateful. And you're going to want to play with her. We're going to do some live, one-on-one calls with her. You guys can raise your hand by pressing *2, and you can ask questions by typing them in, because it's all about you guys, and this show is for you. And we want to play with you. And Amirah has some great tools to help us reclaim our power and live our life with our light on. And so let me read to you a little bit about Amirah. Amirah connects directly to the God-source universal energy as a successful international professional clairvoyant, Reiki master, medium, and quantum energy expert, channel, and medical intuitive. She has over 25 years as an expert trainer and mentor. Amirah shares hidden secrets of regeneration and renewal using quantum activation techniques and guided meditation. Her masterful transformational skills provide an integrated fast track for manifesting, maintaining, and growing abundant health, wealth, and inner joy. After a near-death experience in 1998, Amirah's life transformed as she underwent a spiritual struggle, integrating her extraordinary abilities into the physical world. Feelings of being suspended between this physical world and that beyond her 3D awareness shaped her work and illuminated her life path. Amirah has extraordinary abilities for clearing or transmuting negative or lower energies in personal work or living spaces that has gained her international recognition. She is experienced in identifying and removing complex, dark, energetic influences such as jinn, poltergeist, hauntings, obsessed lovers, ETs, energetic attachments, cords, portals, karmic connections, and past lives. Amirah actually consulted with the royal family members in Dubai and many thousands of individuals worldwide. She is a featured expert on Dubai One TV, NBC 7, San Diego Business Journal, and UAE Ritz-Carlton Wellness Week, and so much more. Amirah offers stress mastery and meditation programs for corporations and is the author of Wake Up, Shift Happens, and Love Up Your Life, and co-author of #1 Amazon best-selling books, Transforming Through 2012 and Beyond. So with that, I really want to welcome Amirah, and hope you guys do want to play with her. Raise your hand again. And welcome, Amirah. Thank you for being here.
Oh, Keli, thank you so much. It's a real pleasure to be here and a real joy. I've been excited for weeks.
Me too. I can hardly wait.
Yeah, it's hard to stay in the moment. Yeah, hard to be in the moment, which is what we have to be forever aware of. And but building up to an exciting moment, I'm sure so many people that are listening. You know, that's been a constant occurrence. And you mentioned something, you know, about when we met over your brother-in-law's death. And when there's a mention of death, you know, a lot of people sort of tighten up and they go back to those painful times. I felt your pain, you know, when you were talking about that, and it reminded me so much of what I went through, and it seems like an acceleration of people experiencing the loss of loved ones. So I just want to thank you for again sharing that it is a poignant point in our life that we really need to acknowledge and not sort of shrivel up and kind of avoid.
I agree. And you talked about being present for this right now, being present. And one of the best things you have is that special tool, meditation tool. I thought maybe we could start with that grounding exercise to get everybody grounded and present.
Yeah, let's just
Would you
ground
be able to do that?
Space.
Okay.
Yeah, grounding the space. You know, listening to you talk about all the things I've done, I felt worn out. And I thought, oh my gosh, have I really gone that far? And it seems like around the world and back. So yeah, we have to just ground out the energy and the experiences that we go through every day, and certainly our history. So yeah, if we just attach or bring our awareness to the base of our spine, I imagine a little gold ball. And we just imagine that gold ball and drop a line or a tube or a cord all the way down to the center of the earth and just hook it. I like to visualize a USB plug or a magnet, you know, with a plug, and just effortlessly attach those 2 points. And what that does is it gives our energetic space or our chakra system a way to discharge energy. Like when we get lit up, those moments of, let's say when we talked about death, it gives that energy a way to discharge and not stay stuck in the body. Because when we have energy that gets stuck, that creates dis-ease or dysfunction, or the big D, death. Death of whatever are in our life, an experience or relationships or you know, physical ill health. So and then as we just notice that point, we can continue on our conversation. So, you know, I like to use the tools throughout the day. So yes, there are grounding meditations that we can employ and just bring our conscious awareness to letting things go, you know, that have been stockpiling in our energy field, or we can just be present right now and, you know, completely engage in this moment and, you know, receiving the ultimate gift, which is the present. So
beautiful.
We can just
also
ground our aura. So we can imagine that grounding cord just spreading and reaching to the edge of our bubble or our energy field, and just pretending or visualizing or conceptualizing this space as safe and fluid. And then we get to be in our centered light, love, and miraculous self. Amusement, too.
Yeah, you gotta laugh.
Well, I got to tell you, as soon as I start plugging into this energy, I start getting really giddy. And it's because it's a really high vibration, and it can't help but tickle your funny bone. I'm sure I can see someone out there looking at it going, what are you talking about? You're crazy. Anyway, so yeah, let's bring in the light here for all of those that are struggling right now and have questions for me, because I can see that, you know, people scratching their heads a little bit. So can you tell me, like, you're the miracle mentor, and some people call you the fairy godmother. So can you tell me how you got those nicknames? Yeah, those nicknames have sort of developed over the years, Kelly. You know, I've been doing this work over 15 years now. And over the years of offering a miracle mentoring mastery program, you know, that just got to be, when people were introducing me, oh yeah, this is my fairy godmother. And because why? We make wishes come true, and we literally transform, by transforming ourselves, the world around us transforms. Family members change, even though they're not enrolled in a program. And, you know, colleagues or bosses, spouses, your kids. So I got to be the miracle mentor, and I just love that approach rather than being called, like my boss or even just a teacher. I don't think there's anybody that doesn't like a miracle. It's kind of like rainbows and dolphins. We just all love miracles. It warms our heart. So it warms mine as I get called that, because that's the program.
And so how would you describe the work that you do? Besides
Keli,
creating miracles for people.
Yeah. Mostly I hold a space. And in the Miracle Mastery Mentoring Program, I'm holding a space because it's like a human drive-through or car wash. You get to do your own work. You put your car in neutral. You still have you have your foot off the gas, of course, but it's like something else takes over. What you're doing is you're purging energy. I'm holding space and assisting you to purge at levels that are deeper than, let's say, what you would normally do reading a book or someone telling you to do such and such an exercise. I'm holding a sacred space so that your spirit and your physical body feel safe to do so. We have to feel safe before we can shift. We can't let go unless we feel like it's really going to be okay for us to do that. And with so much transformation and shifting that we're being forced into right now, globally, with the shifts occurring, it's almost like really, really scary. Oh gosh, I can't let go of one more thing. What's next? So I create a space where people can plug in and consciously make changes, as well as shift their energy to create more of what they want, rather than the stuff they've been creating all along, which is a lot of what they don't want. Does that make sense?
It does make sense. I mean, I notice, like, when I, for instance, give away my power and do something that doesn't feel intuitively right to me, it's more of a struggle. Life becomes a struggle. And so what you're saying is, like, once we connect to that inner light and that inner power, that the whole world opens up to meet us and greet us, and that's where magic happens.
And, the interesting thing that you just said is, like, let go of the struggle. Oftentimes we don't know we're even in the struggle. It's like the old expression, you can't see the forest for the trees because they're in it.
Yeah, that's true.
I was talking with a client earlier today, and we were talking about this relationship she's in and how she's not happy because she's not getting, the man's not, her boyfriend's not expressing his love or doing things for her, even setting dates. So, and I said to her, well, how much room do you have to receive? Do you have to be in control? Do you have to be doing it because he's not doing it? And so in a sense, that's her struggle. She feels like because he's not picking up what she thought he should do, she's resisting or she's struggling to make the relationship be something it's not. So it's not him. It's her energy, her resistance to receiving, her resistance to letting go of the struggle or making things perfect or controlling it. So those are all forms of struggle. And call it what you want. It kind of comes down to a frequency of when you just let that go. And again, it's not the word we put on it. It's a feeling, the best I could say. And it's a vibration. It's a frequency that you shift or allow me to shift for you. And that is the key. That's the magic. That's the miracle mastery.
And so when you shift it for somebody, does it stay? Is it something that stays, or do they go right back into that relationship and it lights up those same issues, or what happens?
Well, that's a great question. It seems like as long as I can remember, when I'm engaging in a private session with someone, I'm constantly referring to my energy tools, and of which that's a special bonus that we have of our offers. I just want to drop that seed. Is these energy tools are they're tools. They're a vehicle to get you and keep your energy moving. So yes, I shift it, and the energy will stay if you've got the muscle or the auric or the energetic field to support that change. In some cases, people might need a little more work, or they have to keep releasing. Other times it's not. You know, I remember a lady coming to me years ago, and she hadn't had a date in 12 years. And she was only about 35, 36. And one session, 10 days later, she met the man of her dreams, and they have not separated since. And that's been 2 years. They're going forward in their life together. Now, other people have come to me for 10 sessions to get the man of their dreams, or even 6 months. So it's not like that for everybody, and I can't really explain why, but other than it has to do with our energetic patterning, our history, our struggles that we're resisting, our fears. And so, again, I do the shift. It has been anchored in an alternate dimension of existence or reality, but it may not be perceived on your physical level. So that's where the energy has to continually be massaged sometimes. But if you go to the gym and you work out with a new trainer or a new exercise, and you go home and you do nothing about it, you're going to atrophy. You know, it's just going to be a waste of time. Otherwise, if you continue to, let's say, pick up some barbells or do some exercises at home, then when you get back to the gym, it's going to be a lot better, isn't it?
Right, yeah. You're definitely going to keep seeing more and more results the more and more you use your tools or pump iron.
Yeah, and we've all been trained in the 3D world, the third dimensional reality. None of us have been taught that we're energy. First before we're a body, or we're a spirit having a human experience. So it's almost like we've got to sort of rewind the tape a little bit and sort of learn the ABCs of who we are and what we are. We're energy beings, and how we've got to keep that moving. You brush your teeth every day, you know, you've got to keep brushing. You're going to lose your teeth. So it's like that, and it is something that I encourage and teach people every step of the way. Some people are more resistant to it than others, but hey, you get to your destination a little faster if you only employ the tools.
Right.
Which, yeah.
So it looks like you've written several books. I mentioned them, Wake Up, Shift Happens, and Love Up Your Life. And your Amazon #1 bestseller, Transforming Through 2012 and Beyond. How do the premises of the book all fit together with the work that you do?
Well, it seems like it's sort of intermingled. You know, my work has been to share tools and a way to get to where you want to go. Only through my experience have these tools really been, you know, validated, and I wanted to share those with other people. And as I said to you, in sharing the energy tools, every single client, I give them homework with the energy tools. And so the books are, you know, my effort in trying to get that in front of people's awareness with, you know, some little stories and, you know, anecdotes to anchor the importance of this. They're not extensive books, but they are kind of the ABCs. If you want something to be different, you've got to do 1, 2, 3. It's that simple. You know, and there's some of those steps that can be bypassed the more adept you become, and the less you start thinking about it, the more it becomes conscious. And you're doing it every day, so it's not like you got to sit down and do it. Not quite like brushing your teeth, you know. Some days I really don't like to, but you got to.
It's homework, but it's not really work. It's fun.
Yeah, it's really not. And it really can be fun. You know, one of my students in one of my classes in Dubai, she was sharing, she was going up an escalator, and there was someone in the department store that was on her phone, and she was talking very, very loud in a foreign language, and it was really irritating her. And so what she did was she grounded that person ahead of her, and just imaginary line or cord from the base of her spine to the center of the earth. And literally, as she did that, the woman hung up her phone and ended the conversation and turned around and looked at my client. And, you know, it was a great story and a great laugh. But I love to do it on the airplanes, you know, use the grounding cord and ground crying babies. Or, you know, disturbing passengers or something like that. Anywhere, anytime you can use that. So the tool
you can ground
is
your
meant
car
to be
and
used.
make sure you get somewhere safe, right?
Yeah, you can. And ground the car in front of you if he's not moving over and you want to pass him. Then all of a sudden
this is fun. See,
over.
This is fun. I like this.
Yeah. You know, ground the cashier when you've got, you take your stuff at the grocery store and all of a sudden you've got a whole long line and the cashier's, you know, fuddling around, or the lady pulls out a gazillion coupons, you know, and that's irritating, even for, you know, the best of us here. But
right.
I can tell you there are many times that I have grounded myself to discharge that frustration. Like, oh, geez, not that. Yeah, so we're human, and we're meant to have these experiences. We're meant to have these emotions, but we're not meant to have them get stuck. That's where we got not taught.
Mm-hmm.
How about that for good English, huh?
Do you, besides the grounding tool, would you be willing to share another one of your wonderful tools with us?
One of my favorite tools is my havingness gauge. And the havingness gauge works like, we just talked about our cars, but on the car odometer or the speedometer, you've got 0, and some cars go to a couple hundred, but I put my gauge from 0 to 100. And so I imagine it like a percentage. And then what I do is I imagine, or I ask a question. What's your havingness, Kelly, today to have, let's say, 15,000 people listening to us right now? I just picked a number out of my hat, okay? Worldwide, okay? What's your havingness for that?
80%.
Awesome. Well, it's not 100. And I hate to be Debbie Downer here, but it's not 100. Okay, so what we would do is just anchor that, ground it, give that gauge a grounding cord, and watch that dial move to 100%. Or if it doesn't, pull out a magic wand or a psychic sponge and just clean off that gauge so that needle can go to 100%. Very good. And then I like to imagine fireworks around it and let it dissolve in the fireworks. So let's play this little game. Is there anybody on maybe that would like to contribute here? Maybe you've got something that you'd like to have.
Do you want to raise your hands and ask a question of Amirah?
We can raise our havingness of everybody on the call. So I see a couple people struggling with work. So we would just see from 0 to 100%, what's your ability in the moment to have that new employment. And if it's at 20% or 15%, you know, it's not something for us to judge. It might be something you say, yeah, I'm afraid, or I've got to get a babysitter, or I don't have a new vehicle, my car problem. You know, all these life issues start popping up and why we're not in that job. And so what we want to do is just clear off all the unconscious energy and let that needle go all the way to 100%, so that we can have just even the energetic space to create that job. So if somebody offers you a job tomorrow or next week, you can be ready to step into it. So
can you do the same type of tool for like financial abundance? Rather than just a job per se, you do it for financial abundance?
Yeah. Now,
so
here's the thing.
How does that work? Like, you visualize an amount that you want, or just financial abundance in general? Or
okay, well, that's a great question, because that's a pretty broad statement. Mm-hmm. You know, people, so the more specific you can ask the question, the more specific results you're going to receive, and the more tangible results you're going to receive. So you've got to be specific. Now, yes, you can say, let's create a gauge for your, you know, financial abundance, but you look at the gauge and it's, well, I see, Kelly, 60%. All right, but what does that mean? Does it mean I need more money in the bank? I need cash? Okay, I want more cash flow. I want to increase my cash flow. So I would then look at a gauge for where's my cash flow right now? Well, it looks pretty, looks low. So if it's at 35 or 37%, then I don't know whose gauge that is I'm looking at. So just imagine cleaning it off so that gauge can move to 100%. That means you have 100% energetic space to increase your cash flow. And what might happen is you get new ideas. You might have a job opportunity. You might sell something. You might reduce your overhead in some ways. Okay, so it's not specific there again. And I use other tools, like as a mock-up tool, to then get real specific on the mock-up. But this gauge sort of gives you an idea of how much you can have that thing you're asking or requesting of the universe.
And is this something like you could do this daily? Like if you would do it daily, then this would be one of the tools you would do daily.
Yeah, like I, would do it, okay, what's my havings today for to be in the flow or to be present today. Mm-hmm. So I want to set my havingness for that to be in the flow. Yes, I've got 100% havingness. I can set my havingness gauge for abundance, yes. So that will be abundance in all things. It might be a compliment. It might be smiles. It might not just be, a raise on my job or, a date. It might not. So we have to sort of broaden our awareness and our conscious understanding of the universe is a pretty big place. So the more specific we are, the more specific we get information on. But we are changing the energetic vibe for that intention in the moment when you set your havingness gauge.
Beautiful. So it says here also that you're a medical intuitive. So does that mean like you can scan a person's body and see like where they're holding their disease?
Yes, that means that, and it means more. What it means is I can see the energies that are blocking certain organs or functionality. And I don't work in the concept of, let's say, a medical doctor. Or somebody might come out and say, oh, yeah, I can see diabetes. Mm-hmm. Quite the contrary, because I'm looking for something below diabetes that caused the problem in the first place.
Like the root.
The root. Now, I can give you an example. There was this gentleman here in San Diego, and he was dying. And his wife came to me, and she actually worked for the San Diego Police Department, the forensics. And she came to me and told me, I can't remember if she asked about her husband or what. I said, he's dying. And she said, yes, he is. But she said, I don't want him to die. And I said, okay, well, you're talking to the wrong girl because I'm not opposed to death. And I've been there. I know what it's like. And so I can't hold anybody back, right? It's not my job to prevent death. But I can certainly help it be easier for him. But she didn't like that answer at all. So she begged me. I finally went over to their home several months later, and this man was literally on death's door. And I mean, if there was a clock that would determine he was at 11:55, he had like 5 minutes left in his life. And I don't take this lightly because I never slept for several nights before, and I really didn't know what I was going to tell this man, what I could possibly say, that would want to make him stay or to fight or I didn't know what to expect. So Keli, when I went there, this man was diagnosed with multiple sclerosis, and he was being treated by the top neurosurgeons or neurologists, I guess you could say, at Kaiser here in San Diego. And all well and good. I said to him, I see metal. I see metals in your body. And he said, oh, well, I used to be a shipyard worker. I used to weld on the ships here in San Diego. I said, okay. Then I said, well, I see parasites. And, here he is, a dying man. He drank one glass of water, a small glass of water during the day, and he had one bowel movement in a week. And so things were looking pretty grim. And I said, look, I don't know what else to say to you. And I remember seeing him energetically, or like in a vision, the door was open and he was walking out the door and he was waving, "Bye, honey, I'll see you later," talking to his wife.
Mm-hmm.
And I didn't really know what to do other than tell him that. And he interpreted it like he was going out on an errand. For me, for a long time, I thought that was his exit, and he was really saying goodbye. He was entering the world of spirit. That's how I was interpreting it.
Mm-hmm.
I got on the phone. I got him connected with a doctor who is specialized in parasites, and he got tested. They did the tests, and they came back a few days later, and they told him he had a bad case of Giardia that was completely eating up his entire digestive system, that all the neurologists in Kaiser had not identified, and that Dr. Bivens had said to him, "Where were you 3 years ago?" He said, "Oh, I was traveling in Panama. My wife and I were on our honeymoon." And he goes, "Well, you contracted Giardia through the water or through the pipes or something there."
Wow.
And so that's what it was. So again, this might be a sort of a challenging situation, but it's not that he was diagnosed with MS. I don't see it like that.
Mm-hmm.
I see energies, and I'm guided to the source of where it began. And it might be a belief system. What I did was I cleared the energies underlying all this, so then he could then go to the correct practitioners or doctors to get the results or the medical aspect to things. I don't diagnose, and I don't give drugs or medicines, but I might say, "Keli, you need some zinc." Wow, I don't know why, but you're showing zinc.
Mm-hmm.
So in that sense, I move the energy to get the clearing, to get the answers, and to have healing.
That's beautiful. So I wanted to open up the call. If anybody, again, if you want to play with Amirah and ask her a question, you just need to raise your hand by pressing *2. And then if you're on the webcast, you can type in your questions. She's happy to answer any of your questions. I wanted to also read about some of the testimonials of people that have worked with Amirah in the past. Melanie says, "Oh my God, everything is different since I participated in the Miracle Mastery Mentoring Program with Amirah. I have fully claimed and opened up the gifts and abilities, connecting with my spiritual origins and wholeness. The Miracle Mastery Mentoring has helped me realize the importance of being true to myself and honoring myself and trusting that inner guidance when it comes. I could have saved myself a lot of grief by listening to my spirit guides. I'm much stronger, and I don't let people manipulate me. From all the things I've experienced in other spiritual workshops and trainings, I feel this program has benefited me the most. I can definitely see how I've progressed since I met you in Egypt, and I'm not even the same person. I've come into my own power. I am clear about who I am and what I need to do. With all sincerity, it would not have been possible without your expert guidance. Thank you, Amirah." And then Anna says, "Tammy, my friend, wanted to have a baby, and after going to Amirah, she's pregnant." Tammy's friend also went to see Amirah, and then she got engaged. And another friend went to see Amirah, and she told her, "You've got to go see Amirah. I don't know how, but magic happens. Something happens. A miracle happens." So again, if you want to play with the miracle mentor, then please raise your hand to ask Amirah a question.
Yeah, I love hearing about those baby stories. Quite the opposite end of the scale of our earlier conversation with death.
Well, I mean, you're
such
also
a
a matchmaker. People are like getting married because of you, and in a long-term relationship because of you. That's
well,
awesome.
in Dubai, that was, I know that's true here in the West, but in Dubai, the cultures of the Indian culture and the Arabic culture, is very, very highly, the women are highly pressured to get married by their families and society. And so, the heat is on, and I've been very, very happy to go to some very elaborate and beautiful weddings as a result of it. That's my reward.
That's beautiful. I know that most people think the Middle East is scary, especially for Americans. What was your overall experience of having lived in Dubai, and how did it shape your work?
It's a very rich experience, 5 years living in Dubai. I have some very fond memories. I can also say that it's stressful at times. just being so far away from home and being so far away from, what feels familiar. So talk about stress. That's one of the things that I was actually teaching at a corporate level there is stress mastery and how to manage the energies. Quite honestly, the Arab friends that I made were very receptive to my energy tools. They loved it, and it seemed to really integrate very well with the Muslim faith. And quite honestly, I have to say this, Keli, to my surprise and chagrin, I found that the Muslim people are highly, highly intuitive and psychic, and they didn't know they were. I was floored at how many prolific and prophetic dreams they have. They would come to me and say, "Oh, Amirah, I dreamt that this was happening, and it happened," and so much of this. And maybe it's as a result of them praying 5 times a day. And so not all people, but, there is a conscious acknowledgement within the culture. Alhamdulillah, meaning thank you, God, and when someone gives a compliment, they say, MashaAllah, blessings to you from God. You've got that beautiful new haircut or that lovely dress or that new car, MashaAllah. It's not putting what they call the eye or a curse or jealousy. Let's just call it plain old jealousy or envy energy. They're saying, blessings, God gave you that, and I don't want to put any of my energy basically on you. I fit into that very, very well and could comprehend it very easily for me. There were 80% of the population in Dubai is from somewhere else, which means we're all expats mostly.
I had no idea.
Yeah. So, and then 80% of that culture or population is from the Indian continent. So there's a huge mix of all kinds of wonderful people, and that was a challenge as much as it was, an opportunity. Just getting, interacting and, exchanging and communicating, quite frankly. A lot of varying degrees of English.
Yeah.
And so, and interpretations of things, it was quite interesting. So I really cherish the friendships and the wisdom that I learned over there and some of the anchoring that I had of being able to manifest. I really learned a greater level of manifestation is what I learned working with members of the royal family and being in their midst and being around many, 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 let's call them Ferraris and Rolls Royces and Lamborghinis and Bentley, that kind of level of manifestation, to be in it is phenomenal. Not that I am it, what I'm saying is it's not that creates who you are, but it's a whole different vibe to be around it 24/7. And to realize it's just a number or it's just the name of a car and anybody can have it, but they're extremely open to receiving. And that was a great, great lesson.
You think that's cultural? It must be cultural.
Well, I think it's a factor of Dubai was really only built in the last, decade and a little bit. But, the generation and the people that are holding that vibration, they expect and receive very high levels of abundance. They have a high havingness. There's no other way around it.
Nice.
And just that notion, it stretched my ability to have more. Why not? And if you like to live in luxury, why not?
Beautiful.
But you appreciate it,
Alhamdulillah.
And inshallah, God willing, you will have it.
All of us.
All of us, everybody. I'm saying when I say you, I mean everybody that's listening and everybody that's listening to the listen and it's a ripple effect.
Right,
so the more we just raise our consciousness to having more with a purity of heart and a neutrality that this is the the wisdom of the universe. This is what we are. We're creators. We can create whatever we want. We put the limits. We've got the stops. Pull them out.
Beautiful. Do you want to do, I don't see if nobody's raised their hand. There's some people on the call. If anybody wants to play with Amirah and do a one-on-one, just press *2. And again, if you're on the webcast, you can go ahead and type in your questions. She's happy to answer any questions that you may have. And this is your rare opportunity. Again, don't let it pass you by. Don't let it pass you by. So, oh, yay, somebody's brave enough. Okay, I'm going to unmute area code 858. And I don't have a name. Vicki? Is this Vicki?
This is Vicki.
Yay, welcome.
Hi, Amirah. I was pressing #2.
Oh, interesting. Well, it finally worked.
Having this gauge, check that grounding cord of yours. When you can't get through on the phone, just reground. Good job.
Thank you so much for taking my call. I'm so excited to listen to you.
Thank you for
calling.
You have a
question for Amirah?
I do have a question. I'm open to ideas on how I can raise my havingness stage around abundance and specifically a large sum of money.
Okay. So do you have a number already in your mind?
12,000.
Okay. Well, how about 20? I like round numbers. Okay, but I don't want to stretch you into something that's uncomfortable. Let's work with 12.
Okay.
I'm playing with you. Vicki and I know each other a long time. So Vicki, just create a gauge in your mind from 0 to 100, okay, and ask the gauge, what's your ability to have in this moment $12,000? And no cheating. Okay. What's the number that comes up?
I got 25%.
Okay. Yeah, well, so it's just a number. And so put a grounding cord on that gauge. From the gauge in your mind, all the way down, drop it into the earth and plug it in. And just notice if the gauge changes, the needle changes any. What's happening to it?
It's moving up.
Okay. And where's it at now? Where's the needle indicating?
It's like 89.
Okay. And that's pretty good. That's really awesome. Just all you did was give it a grounding cord. So it's discharging. What you're doing by visualizing that is you're actually releasing and you're activating the quantum field of energy to shift whatever unconscious programs you have that are limiting you from having $12,000, and they're being released. So that's really awesome. Now, where's the needle reading now?
At 92.
Okay, that's awesome too. It's and it doesn't have to be 100%. If you're okay at 92% today in this moment, then we're good. If you're not and you want to clear that off to 100%, just for good old time's sake, then just take an imaginary psychic sponge and just clean off that remaining 8%. And I hear bing, 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 bing.
I know. I was just going to say, it bounced up there.
It sounds like a casino. You just won the jackpot. So that's fabulous. Now just roll up that gauge or just, explode it or let it dissolve and just go about your day. Go about your business. That's the secret in not getting attached to it. And you could, there's a fine line in doing it every single day. Okay, you could get up every morning and reset your gauge or just take a look at it. Okay, what you're doing is you're reevaluating. If you look at it again tomorrow, where am I at in that day to have that amount of money? And it's always in the moment. So if there's energies that drop it back down tomorrow to 30%, let's say, without judgment, without, oh, geez, this stupid game again. No, you just go, oh, boy, another opportunity to clear some energy so I can get myself at that place of having 100% of $12,000.
Okay.
How does that sound?
It sounds great. I've noticed I'm good at getting what I need each day, but it's like I'm just scrimping along at that. I just thought if I can get extra, I just, I need to bump up a notch.
So, you just, gave me a couple bits of information. You're conflicting yourself because you said you're manifesting every day what I need. Are you talking about your workflow or getting your orders out with your business?
I mean money-wise. What money I need that day.
But that's not $12,000 every day.
No, that's what I'm saying. The reason I said $12,000 is because I'm tired of just going day to day with just the bare necessities. So I believe.
So what you're focusing on, Vicki, I'm sorry to interrupt you. What you're focusing on is the lack, not the inflow and not the abundance around you. So it's beyond the having this gauge in your case. So it's like there's resistance there that is not letting you have focus on the abundance. You're focusing on what little you're getting. Does that make any sense?
Yeah.
Okay.
So can you do
so
a
what
different
I'm doing,
gauge?
Well, what I'm looking at is Vicki's. It's not always that simple, but I'm looking at Vicki's third chakra. That's your solar plexus, Vicki. And what I see here is like when you hear people say, oh, there's like a pit in my stomach or a knot. It's like you're all knotted up there, and it's like your ability to flow or to put things in the world is being blocked. There's some deeper work that needs to be done. No, I know that you've done lots of work on this. I'm seeing a lot of self-judgment. I'm seeing I want to say abuse in the sense of criticism and judgment. So I'm just going to help you out and I'm just resetting the energy for our bubble here and anybody who wants to step into this energetics of abundance. Okay, so just go ahead and you might want to close your eyes and just notice what you notice as I'm resetting some energies here. Because it's even hard for me to swallow with this energy that's coming in. It's almost like you can't receive or you can't digest, you can't even internalize what wants to come in. And there's always something that needs to be released as you receive. Or most of the times we've got to let go of it first. And Vicki, a lot of your need to control the outcome is interfering. And also you're showing me a picture of being in a pattern of focusing on the small stuff and I want to call it the minion work. That's what you're telling me, minion work rather than the big global. I'm glad you're laughing.
Yeah, well, that's so right on.
Because that makes you feel empowered to just do busy work and do the little things. It makes you feel like you've got control of something.
No, it's just that I feel I have no choice because the little stuff needs to get done. So like a hamster on a wheel. That's what I'm hoping for.
It's not about the minion work. It's about the feelings you have and the blinders you have while you're doing it. It's the energetic attachment you have to being a minion.
I like what you said about Dubai, about how they're having this gauge is just automatically set high. I felt good there when you said that.
Well, years ago, I remember being stuck in a place like this myself, and I remember going to opulent places, like going to one of the biggest, most expensive store and hanging out. And I remember also feeling out of place there and thinking, I don't have a nickel to rub together. How am I going to afford? Why am I even in here? Someone's going to, rat me out. And I remember even telling my clients that, you got to go be in the frequency. It's a frequency of where you feel abundance. And that might be sitting at a lake. That might not be in Nordstrom's or Bloomingdale's. That might be sitting by a lake and just feeling like the abundance of the universe everywhere around you. And so where you get to that place of being receptive and feeling such gratitude and just feeling the beauty and the love and the abundance all around you in all things.
Okay.
I don't want to be picking on the minions, but they're just funny little critters. I think the minion in all of us, we sort of just micromanage and focus on the small things, and we sort of forget about the massive big picture. So pretend you're in Dubai if that picture works for you.
Well, I can do that. I need to get out of the rut and get out into the world, and I think that would be very good for me. And so in some cases that might be your remedy because you're just too focused on that little busy work. Give yourself set times on the calendar to do that. Love that. And whistle while you work and the checks flying in and raising your having this gauge for more orders and more money flowing and in that place of gratitude, because I think part of this having this gauge is really having the vibration of gratitude. Mhm.
Because when you're at 100%, you're, wow, thank you.
I know. So true.
Yeah.
Thank you.
I hope that helps.
It does help so much.
I'm also moving some energy around the top of your head and the crown chakra, and you've got your analyzer engaged with, you get inspiration and you talk yourself out of so many things, Vicki. You're very intuitive, and I'd say 70% of the time you're actively following it, but there's a very loud 30% that kind of overrides. It's kind of like the bully in your head. And that's the judgmental and critical part of you. Oh, that'll never work. Yeah, right?
Right.
So I'm just helping you out with moving some of that energy as I'm resetting our space, our conscious awareness just to receive a higher level of abundance. And it's not only in our bank accounts. It's with supportive friends. It's with a team. Maybe you need a team of support. Maybe it's with kind words or business opportunities where you link up with somebody.
Okay.
And so whatever the possibilities are, being open, being in that flow and receptive.
Thank you.
Thank you so much, Vicki, for calling in. Appreciate it. I'm going to go ahead and put you back on mute. Oh, sorry. Does anybody else have any questions? There's a few other people on the call. If you want to raise your hand, you still have time. We're going to say thank you for Vicki and thank you for Amirah for clearing that for everybody on the call and whoever listens in the future. And I wanted to get to the special offer that Amirah put together that is available nowhere else except for here on the Be the Change show. And it is new training material that's never been shared before by our dear friend Amirah. And it actually comes with 10 modules, and they are so important. Do you want me to read them off for you, and then you can talk about them, Amirah?
Gosh, I was just sort of in that energy of our quantum field here for abundance. I feel overwhelmed with the modules that I created for you guys. So yeah, let's start. Read them off and we can talk about it.
Well, one of them, Module 2, actually, is Divine Abundance Blueprints. So I guess since we're in that abundance energy, we could start there.
Yeah, when I talked to Vicki about her minion experiences, we're all carrying a blueprint of being poor, of being in survival, of struggle, and we've had vows of poverty maybe from previous lifetimes. We all have our judgments on money, whether they're rich or poor people, or, like people in Dubai, they might be rich, but they're not nice, as an example. Or, what's a rich soul living that, spiritual people can't make good incomes, etc. So, what we do is I guide you through a process of clearing those patterns that keep you locked in that are unconscious, as we uncovered with Vicki, and it's not, Vicki, thank you for calling, because everybody's carrying these patterns that's keeping us limited. And it's only in clearing these patterns that you can jump or catapult. Let's call it catapult out of it. Yeah, so we reset your pattern at a new high level for you.
And is that true then of all of these? Basically, I'll read the Divine Connection Blueprint. So you're reformatting our connection to ourselves, connection to the divine, connection to everybody.
Your soul has a pattern. You came in with a blueprint for this lifetime. What we're doing is we're clearing off energetic breaks in the patterns, reconnecting the pattern. We're clearing off vibrations and frequencies that aren't part of your pattern, that maybe you adapted or adopted from families or society. And so we're clearing these patterns off so you reach a new, more in line with your original soul's imprint. Some of us have to take multiple steps. You might have to listen to some of these modules several times. Each time you'll take yourself to a higher frequency, getting closer. Some modules you might listen to once and you get there right away. So
I have to tell you, I've done a couple of these and I went kaput. Like I just kind of went unconscious.
Did you have a meltdown?
Yeah, well, I just kind of stripped it off. I just stripped it off and slept. And so I just want to make sure people don't do them when they're driving. Like give yourself time to really feel the energy and be with it and focus on it, because it's very powerful.
And what happens when you fell asleep is very normal, actually. Yeah. And that I typically recommend people do these practices sitting up. Okay, when you lay down.
Well, you didn't tell me that.
I'm sorry, I'm assuming, wasn't I? That was the minion in me. I forgot. I was so caught up in the higher echelons and realms, that this mundane stuff kind of snuck by me. But Keli, what's happened is when you lay down, your body's programmed to sleep. And so that when we're doing these higher level work, if we want to maintain consciousness of it, then we want to sit up. Okay. Otherwise, you will go to sleep because it'll relax you. So if you ever wake up at 3 a.m. and you can't sleep, that would be the time to do it.
Listen to one of these. I got it. Yeah. And I love the third module is love, Divine Love Blueprint. So is that bringing more love into our lives? Is that loving ourselves up? What is that one about?
Loving up your life. It's about aligning you with your fullest capacity for love. It could be loving, a part of yourself that you hated. It could be loving your parents for everything they didn't do or did do. It could be loving your partner or loving your work, but just really being in connection with all of what that means to you, which is, it's a pretty vast subject.
Yeah, beautiful.
But releasing and clearing energetic traps that keep you out of being in alignment with this divine love blueprint that you are is the whole mission. Yeah, it's real beautiful.
And I have a module 4 is Divine Health Blueprint. So if you're feeling sick, you want to listen to that, or you want to listen to that because that's going to bring in your optimum health level and make you make maybe healthier decisions on what you're going to eat, or if you're going to exercise that day, or
right, blowing off the gym, or having increased vitality whether you go to the gym or not, but getting this genetic rebalancing for that get up and go. And if you do have a health challenge, to really steer your way out of it so that you can heal those health challenges, whether they're ancestral energetic patterns or they're karmic conditions, or just an entity, an energetic entity that's depleting your life force. By moving those things out, you come into your divine wellness, your divine health. And that's the goal.
But quick question about entities. Do they not only disrupt your health, but other areas of your life?
Yeah, they can attack your money. They can attack your home. They can attack your work. Yeah.
So then this divine money blueprint number 6, if you had any entities affecting your money, that would be cleared out with that module.
I would hope so, yeah.
Yeah.
I had a client years ago that couldn't sell a house, and her house was over $1 million, and it was in Lake Tahoe, and there was 20 houses on this. It was a very, very, very long street, and they couldn't sell the property. And there was an entity, and there was also an energetic, it was kind of a vortex that literally just kept sucking their money out. And it wasn't until we closed that vortex and cleared that blueprint off the house and off of their energetic space that they were able to sell the house. They ended up selling the house in less than 30 days, and they got a complete cash deal, and they had to be out of the house in 30 days.
Wow, that's awesome.
Yeah, but entities can affect all kinds of areas of our lives.
So you would recommend the Divine Money Blueprint for anybody that needs to sell a house quickly?
Well, yeah, that, or even holding on to your money, or being able to pay bills. A lot of times people can't even open the envelope the bill comes in, they don't want to deal with. They're going to have to be forced with dealing with the amount of money in their bank account, and they don't want to do that. And because then what are you doing? You're focusing on the lack.
Right.
Not with gratitude that, wow, I'm grateful I have the money to pay the bill. And
yeah,
thank you, God.
Every time my mom writes out a check, she puts thank you on it, which I like. I like that. Send out a check and say thank you. Thank you for this exchange.
With gratitude.
Yeah.
You can have a psychic stamp that just says, in gratitude, Amirah Hall.
And then number 5, I skipped number 5, which was Divine Relationships Blueprint. So this is anybody, because everybody's in relationship with somebody, friends, family, a loved one.
Co-workers. And,
Co-workers,
a lot of times what we don't understand is oftentimes if we can't get a job, we don't realize that if we've been canned from a job, there's some energetic attachment to that, or that rejection. That energy can block you from getting a new job, and or a former relationship. Oh, that's over. That's history. Oh, really? Well, how about, the energy is still locked in your ovaries, and that might be why nobody, fitting is approaching you or something like that.
Nice. And what about this number 7, the Divine Life Work Blueprint? Tell me more about that one.
There's been a growing cry that I hear from so many people to live and love their work, to be aligned with their soul's calling, to really work with passion, and to have their highest expression of who they are in their work. There's a growing yearning for that amongst people. And so even if you don't, you're doing a job, let's say you've been an attorney for 10 years, but you're not loving it anymore, maybe not your calling, or maybe it is. You've just lost all this energy has been accumulated, and you can't connect with that which originally drew you into your practice. So clearing overwhelm or resentment or judgments and expectations or criticisms, all of those things can affect you in being able to express your divine life work. It could have been from your parents growing up, or society, or your own judgments on it.
So would that blueprint work if somebody's like looking for a new job?
I think so. Yeah, I
would
think
that make it more clear for them to find that right opportunity for them?
And the employer, if they're interviewing, the employer can see, wow, I like this person. They're in alignment with us in the company, right? They're more authentic. They're clear aged. I'd want that person on my team.
Beautiful. And what about module number 8, Divine Emotional Blueprint?
You know, our emotions are the key to creating. They're the magical component behind our creations. How passionate we are or feeling aligned with them will energetically draw them to us. Our emotions, on the other hand, also, such as guilt or not feeling worthy or feeling a victim, those energies create dysfunction, dis-ease. They destroy our health. They destroy our relationships. They destroy our career and the flow of our money and. So it's critical for us to that essence, that sort of love and vision that we have for ourselves in order to fulfill our purpose. So in order to get into alignment with that, we redefine our vision.
So is that one, do you think that's something that they would start there, or would they start at one, or would they just go to whichever one that they want, that they resonate with?
Well, you know, that's a great question. This program was not set up for anybody to go 1, 2, 3. You can start with 8. You can start with 2. You can jump around, because you know, with energy, it's just all around us. There is no 1, 2, 3. Right. You know, you go in a flow wherever you're being called to or drawn to. I think that's great.
I also want to tell people, I forgot to, where they can follow along with this and see where the special offer is. It's at BeTheChangeShow.com/Amirah and then the number 1. And you spell Amirah AMIRAH and then the number 1. So again, BeTheChangeShow.com/Amirah and the number 1. And you can see all of this, everything that she's including in her package, which is just a beautiful, beautiful gift for us all. And number 9, the Divine Creative Blueprint. So this is just bringing more creativity into your being and then into your life.
Well, you know, it's a little bit, yes, it's that. Crown chakra, we have these creative rings that sit just above the crown chakra. And in this module, what I do is I walk you through the steps of clearing off these rings that not only align you with your divine inspiration, your God self, but it also affects your brain function and it affects everything that you manifest. So every thought is a function of your creativity. So it starts to change your whole entire makeup. And it draws things to you that you wouldn't even imagine could be drawn to you. So, you know, it's part of our special bonus. There is this recording that I made explaining about the new manifesting rule on the planet. We're shifting from a 3D or third dimensional reality to a 5D reality. In simple terms, what it means is we're shifting from, you know, 3 dimension, you got to see it, feel it, and touch it, and know it, and you've got to have a goal and you set it out, then you take an action plan and 1, 2, 3, and unless you follow that prescription, it won't manifest. Well, 5D world is where you think and you create and boom, you turn around and it's literally manifested. That's why it's wonderful. It's exciting. However, all those negative thoughts, all those negative feelings, they're going to intercept what and how you're creating. So as the vibrations on the planet are speeding up or raising, and our consciousness is raising, we're expanding into the fullness of our human potential, which is, I recall a famous man, I don't recall him, but I read about it. His name was Jesus, that said, you will do what I do and much more. Well, here's the much more. Well, I think Jesus thought and he created also. So we're in the midst of this. And the critical point is that we, me, everybody, have to clear our frequencies of the old and the outmoded patterns, ways of thinking, and limitations so that we can step into this new frequency. And many people have heard it over and over and over, so I'm not espousing anything new. I received a vision when I was in Egypt one time, and it's so relevant for right now. I was asking, what is this new 2012, and what was all this shift and change and great awakening all about? And the message I got was, imagine today you're a caterpillar, and tomorrow you're a butterfly. Well, the caterpillar goes into this cocoon, and it's a time of darkness and stillness, and deep and transformational shifts are occurring in that point. Emerging as a butterfly, being light and having beauty and all the abundance around in a garden. So that's how I see things and where we're progressing. And these modules are set up to take you there. They're your cocoon time. They're to get you in that place of creating absolutely everything beyond what you can conceptualize or visualize. I told someone the other day, you know what? Vision boards are history. There has been. And, just fold it up or use it on your car as a sunshade. But, it's like you have it in your mind. As soon as you have that picture in your mind, boom, it can manifest. And I know some people are saying, really? Oh, come on, Amirah, that's too, idealistic. But no, that's where I see things happening. And I know you can probably say I agree with me, Keli. Haven't you seen things lately? You just think something and boom, there it was. Or someone calls you up and says, it's phenomenal.
That's been happening so much lately in my life, and it is phenomenal. It's very cool to experience.
And we want it more and more and more. Give me more.
Yes, more and more. We want more. And it's everybody's divine right. It is. It's here for everybody.
And back to the very first of our call, how much can we have? Can we have all this space for transformation and creation and abundance? Can we have that space? So I'm so excited. Yeah.
And then the last one we didn't even get to, number 10, Divine Freedom Blueprint.
Oh, I think we just talked about it.
I think
having
so
this
too.
ultimate freedom of, all of these modules are interlaced. Though they're not a 1, 2, 3 step, they're such a powerful accumulation. And there's an average of about 20 minutes where I guide you directly in the exercise. So there's very little discussing what it's all about. And I purposefully did it that way. It's pure class. It's pure, I guide you through the work. And I never have, this is a compilation of 15 years of work in the most succinct and direct method that I could possibly channel, I think. So I'm really excited, Keli. This is sort of a glowing diamond right now for people to just jump into. And certainly,
it's so beautiful. I mean, it's just an amazing gift. An amazing gift for all of us. And I so appreciate you doing that.
Oh, let me give you a big hug. Big quantum virtual hug.
Oh, you did by giving us this gift. This was a huge hug.
Yeah.
And I mean, all of this put together with the bonus. I mean, we didn't even talk about the bonus energies. You have here simple grounding meditation. Is that the one we did at the beginning of the call?
Well, the energy tools are a combination of grounding, replenishing, clarity, setting healthy boundaries or separating your energies from other people, a wellness tool, a stress buster, and using color, a magic wand. So those are the 7 quantum energy tools that are an everyday must-have for everybody, in my opinion.
I agree. I love it. I love it. And they're simple. They're simple to do. And everybody on this call is worth it. You guys are worth it. Take the time and be with yourself and nourish yourself. I mean, it's an awesome, awesome opportunity. Never before shared material. I really don't want you to miss out on it. And the total value of all of this is like $1,100, and she generously is giving it to us at $99, like a huge, huge discount. And I just can't even appreciate you enough for doing that. And then number 2, to top it all off, she's offering for only $197 to include a half an hour with her one-on-one. And again, this is one-on-one with the miracle mentor, with the fairy godmother, have it be. You know, if you want a relationship, she'll help you get that. If you want a new job, she'll help you get that. You know, she can, like I said, make miracles happen. So can you tell us like a little bit of what to expect on that half an hour with you?
Well, I would if I could. The reason I say that is every single person is so unique, and of course it's totally tailored to the individual energetic frequency in the moment. You might come thinking that you want the divine abundance, but, you know, you're going through a breakup, you know, or something like that. So whatever's the most, you know, the hottest topic or wherever, you know, you want the clearing, certainly I'll help you with that. So, you know, it's open to be directed to wherever you or your higher self needs to go. I will channel the information or, you know, clairvoyantly see what needs to be moved for your highest good. So sometimes it can look like we're just talking like you and I are talking, but there's a whole lot going on, Kelly. I don't know if you can feel it, that I've just been pulsing.
Maybe that's why I'm in tears.
Mm-hmm. And people are probably wondering, I'm at a really high frequency and I just feel a lot of amusement right now. But I've been sending out energy through the whole call to just a quantum field of abundance and love. And not in that order, but abundance could be in love or in money, as Vicki was requesting. So, you know, I'm here just helping you get into alignment with who you are and what that means for you. And we all interpret those things sort of in a different way. So it helps us release what's holding us back from having those things.
Beautiful.
But the frequency is very, very high right now. I just have to say.
And this is true. I mean, this carries on for everybody, whether they're listening to the call now or later today or later this week. Like, the energy is with you. It's not just here on the live call. And I just appreciate who you are and you offering this and being on the show and making a change in people's lives. It's a beautiful, beautiful gift that you have.
Thank you. I don't know so much of it as it is. I guess it's a gift. I often wonder, you know, it's a pull. It's not even a calling. There's no question in my mind. There's nothing else to do, you know.
Right.
After my near-death experience, it was literally, there's no other option, you know. There's no other track to walk in. It would be far too painful walking and doing anything. I play around with graphics on my site. I get involved with a lot of different things, but the healing part is an absolute component to who I am. So And I think
so
we
I
all
highly
are feeling.
recommend everybody take an opportunity and sign up as fast as you can to get your special time with Amirah. Now is the time. Don't wait. This is not going to be around again. It's a limited time offer, and she, like I said, is a special, special person and very talented, and can change your life for the better, change you for the better in the world in the process. And again, if you want to see the special offer that she put together, go to bethechangeshow.com/Amirah1. Do you have anything else that you wanted to share, or did you want to go out of the call with another one of your great tools? Or
Well, I really, really want to share. I really don't want to get off the call, Kelly. I
know, I love listening to you too. Okay, let's just stay here all day long.
Yeah. So let's go within. Let's just close our eyes here and really feel this frequency. And what I'm doing here is I'm going to just ask you to visualize a bubble out in front of you, a nice gold bubble or a gold ball. And outside of the gold ball is a gold ring. It encapsulates the bubble. So let it see that gold ring around the bubble and allow that gold ring beginning to spin around the bubble. And just notice that there's little sparkles within that gold ring, and they're also spinning. They're spinning like an atom would spin with an orbit. And so within the ring, the sparkles are spinning, the ring is spinning. And if that's going left to right or right to left, just notice that's going crossways. Then we're going to have another ring spinning from front to back. So crosswise, the second ring, gold ring, spinning. And it too has little gold sparkles. And just notice those little sparkles begin to have lights and they're flickering. And the rings begin to spin faster and faster. And faster and faster. And faster and faster. And breathe. Imagine this bubble with the gold ring spinning around it, getting bigger and bigger. And the bubble gets bigger and bigger and bigger. And it's filling the entire room you're in. In fact, you step into the bubble. You notice you're inside the bubble of spinning rings. And I can see a couple people out there have added a couple rings to it. So let's go ahead and imagine 2 more rings spinning. In whatever order, whatever direction they're spinning is perfect for you. And just notice the frequency and the vibration that surrounds you. It's building and growing, illuminating. It's as if there's a scintillating kaleidoscope of color and patterns within your bubble, inside the spinning gold rings of light. And breathe, bringing yourself into awareness and alignment and activation. Activating miracles, activating abundance, activating the divine flow of all your desires. The Creator, the God within you, knows what those desires are, even if they've been deeply buried and long forgotten. Just allow those to be activated. And just notice the energy centers within your physical body are aligning with the frequencies of the outer rings that are spinning. As you lose sense of the separation between yourself and the bubble, or the energies within the bubble, and you would become one scintillating, vibrating force of miracle, synchronicity, abundance, joy, and amusement with the simplicity of this endeavor. And I'm going to leave you with this immensely powerful frequency surrounding you, because this is who you are. Acknowledging the love and the light around you, and the wonder of the universe within you and outside you. Bringing heaven to earth. Blessings with abundance for you.
I just want to thank you, Amirah. That was so beautiful. Thank you for enveloping us in that space and holding that energy for us. And for being here and for being you. And if you guys are interested in working one-on-one with Amirah or want to use her beautiful tools to enliven your light within, then please visit BeTheChangeShow.com/Amirah1. And I want to not speak up too loud because I know you guys are still in the energy and enjoying it. So I thank you so much. And I hope to see you tomorrow on the call with Cindy. And again, hugs and kisses to everybody. I really appreciate you all being here. Have a good night. Bye.